Daniel 11 is one of those chapters that feels like reading history ahead of time. It's full of kings, wars, alliances, and betrayals. At first glance, it might seem like just a list of political drama, but when you slow down and really think about it, it's an incredible reminder that God is in control, even when the world feels completely out of control. The rise and fall of kingdoms, the power struggles between rulers, none of it surprises God. He sees it all, knows it all, and weaves even the messiest moments into his bigger plan. Let's think about that in our lives for a moment. Have you ever been in a situation where everything felt unstable? Like you were watching pieces of your life shift around and you didn't know how to make sense of it? Maybe it was a job change, a tough season in your family, or just feeling uncertain about your future. Daniel 11 reminds us that God is still steady in those moments. He's not surprised by what's happening, and he's not leaving us to figure it out alone. One practical takeaway here is learning to trust God's sovereignty. That sounds like a big churchy word, but really, it just means trusting that God's got the bigger picture in mind. Even when we don't understand what's happening, it's like when you're putting together a puzzle and all you can see are the random pieces in front of you. God's got the box lid. He knows how it all fits together, even when we can't see it yet. If you read through, you'll notice that even the most powerful rulers, the ones who thought they had everything under control, eventually lose their power. It's a humbling reminder that no matter how much we achieve or how much influence we think we have, it's all temporary. What really lasts is how we live, with humility, integrity, and kindness. It's about remembering that we're all part of a bigger story, and we're not the ones in charge of it. So maybe this looks like being the person who admits when they're wrong, even when it's uncomfortable, or being willing to step back and let someone else take the lead, instead of needing the spotlight all the time. Daniel 11 shows us a lot of people making alliances for their own gain, and then breaking those alliances when it no longer serves them. It's easy to look at that and think, well, I'd never do that. But how often do we compromise in small ways when it feels convenient? Maybe it's gossiping about someone to fit in with a group, or cutting corners on something because it seems like no one will notice. Integrity means being the same person, whether people are watching or not. It's choosing to do the right thing, even when it's hard. And let's be honest, it's not always easy. But when we live with integrity, we reflect God's character to the people around us. It's a way of saying, I trust God enough to live by his standards, even when it's not the easy choice. Daniel 11 also highlights diligence. The chapter talks about kings rising and falling, but behind every rise to power was someone working, planning, and striving. It's a reminder that while God is in control of the big picture, we're still called to play our part. Diligence doesn't mean striving endlessly or burning ourselves out. It means being faithful with what's in front of us, one step at a time. Think about your daily life. Are there areas where you can be more diligent? Maybe it's showing up to work or school with a better attitude, even when you're tired. Maybe it's being intentional about spending time with your family or setting aside time to grow in your faith. Diligence is about doing the little things well and trusting that they add up to something meaningful. Daniel 11 shows us a lot of people grasping for power, holding tightly to what they have, and trying to take more. But Jesus flips that mindset completely. He shows us that real greatness comes from giving, not taking. Living generously doesn't just mean giving money. It's about giving your time, your attention, and your care. It could be something as simple as stopping to really listen to a friend who's having a tough day, or offering to help a neighbor who's overwhelmed. When we live generously, we're saying, I trust God to provide for me. So I don't have to hold on to everything so tightly